Welcome to SternFX. My name is Eran, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to track objects that goes outside of the frame. So this is the Maasai giraffe, the national animal of Tanzania. This one can survive up to 3 days without drinking water and can reach a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. But the one that we are seeing over here is slowly crossing the frame, glancing at us for a brief moment, and continue on his track. Now work with me here, and let's imagine that our fictional client asked us to move the title with this giraffe motion. Sure thing, I say no problem whatsoever. This should be super easy for the most part when the animal is visible on screen. But what happens with the parts that we can't see it? Well, good that you are here because I have a solution, actually a very cool trick that will help you to remedy this scenario. So we're going to start as usual by selecting the video layer, and then I'll right click on it, choose track and stabilize, and ask After Effects to track the motion. As always, this is going to open up the footage in the layer panel over here and show us the tracker panel, as well as create a tracker in the middle of the screen. All right, so let's move forward to a place that we can see the giraffe's head, and then I'll select the tracker, wait for the double-headed arrow so I can move the entire group, and I'm going to just place this on top of his eye. I'll zoom in by holding down the Option key, the Alt on Windows, and scrolling up with the mouse. Then I'll press and hold the spacebar key to get a temporary hand tool, and then I'm going to expand the search area. So something like this I think should work. So let's put it to the test. I'll fit the zoom by pressing Option and /, and then I'll click on Analyze Forward to track from this point onward, and we can see that the tracker is going to succeed until the point that we can't see it anymore. So I'm basically just stopping it. I'm going to go back to the original point over here, and I'm going to analyze backward. Okay, let's see what we came up with by selecting the layer here in the timeline, and then open up the motion trackers and then drill down tracker number 1 as well as track point number 1. I'm going to move the mouse until I can see the first good keyframe over here, and then I'm going to marquee around all the other keyframes that I don't need and press delete to remove them. Then I'll move the time ruler to the end of the frame over here, and I'm just going to say goodbye to all those redundant keyframes, which basically are not going to help us. So we have a decent amount of frames, but we need the tracker to continue and track outside of the frame, before and after the giraffe is visible. Now, you have a few options. The first one, if I'll click on Options here, is to use this Extrapolate motion and tell the tracker that if the confidence is lowering below a certain degree, in this case 80%, it should continue to extrapolate. But the problem here is that we don't have enough data. And you probably know that the tracker can't go outside the boundaries of the comp. So to make this happen and to make use of this feature, we need to extend the boundaries of this composition and then do the entire motion tracking again and hope for the best. So let me offer a better solution. I'll cancel out of this option, and then I'll go to the layer menu and I'll create a null object, which is going to hold the keyframes, the data for the tracking. So I'll name it tracking data, and then I'll return back to the tracker after selecting the tracker over here, so it will be highlighted. Click on Edit Target, make sure that I'm applying the motion to the tracking data null, click OK, and finally click Apply, and there is another OK that you need to click on. All right, so now we can close the layer, and we have all the position information when the giraffe is in frame. And to show you how it looks, I'll press U, which is going to reveal the keyframes that we've just applied, in this case for the position. Now what I would like this null to do is to continue with the same motion. Basically extrapolate the motion before and most importantly after the last keyframe. And this is how we do it. I'll press Option or Alt if you're working on the Windows side and click on the stopwatch to enable an expression. We are going to use the loop expression to loop the keyframes forward and backward in time and add the same motion to it. So this is how the expression needs to be. loopIn, so I'll start to type the word loop. After Effects is going to help me with the syntax here. And inside the parentheses, I'll add double quotes. And this means that I can choose between 4 different kinds of looping. I'll select the offset method, which is going to keep adding the same value to itself. And this expression is going to take care of all the keyframes before the giraffes enter the screen. So what I'll need to do now is add to it by adding the plus sign, the loopOut expression using the same syntax, which is going to take care of the keyframes after the giraffe leaves the screen. So loop again, this time it's going to be loopOut. And inside the double quotes, I'll select the offset method, and then I'll go outside of the parentheses. And this is very important. I need to subtract the current value. So I'll add a minus sign and then type in the letters VA. After Effects is going to help me with the word value. So this is the expression. I'm going to click away. And by the way, if you don't like to write this code, you can copy it from the description below. But let's check how this works. I'm going to take the current time indicator over here, and you can see that the null object is going to move outside of the frame using the loopIn offset argument. And then once it's reaching the end, it's going to do the same thing, basically mimicking the motion of the giraffe. So all we need to do right now is just find the place that we want to connect them together. So I'm just going to pause over here, and then I'll use the parent and link pick whip and parent the text to the tracking data. Then I'm going to go to the beginning and press spacebar and see how this works. And that's it. A simple expression that can help you in similar situations. In case you need it, of course, you can just copy and paste the code from the description underneath. Now, before we part ways, I just want to offer you another approach to the same problem. Since this was shot against a clear blue sky, we can easily key out the blue color and examine another way to articulate this composition. So what I'll do is I'm just going to duplicate this by pressing Command D over here at the project level. Then I'll double click the composition, and then I'm going to move my current time indicator more or less to this place where the title is in the middle of the screen. And over here, I'm just going to delete the tracking data null. And this is going to leave the title in its place. And if I want, I can select it, go to the Align panel to make sure it is in the middle of the frame. Now, I'll select the layer and duplicate it, bring this copy above everything. And to key out the sky, I'll go to the Effect menu, and under the Keying category, I'll select the Color Range effect. I'll use the eyedropper over here to just sample the color of the sky, and then using the plus eyedropper, I'll click a few times here in this little preview because this is the way this effect is working. And this should be enough to punch a hole in the sky and basically key out this blue color. Then I'll go to the beginning, I'll maximize this frame, and I'll preview this result. And I think this version is also interesting, maybe even better, who knows? Maybe you know, maybe your client knows. But whatever is the case, we now have an alternative solution to the same problem. So there you go. This is the resolution for this tutorial. Sometimes less is more, and sometimes more is more. In any case, I hope you find this technique useful and you will be able to use it in your own work. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next tutorial.